present, friend in birth, decay, disease, disease. Now let us continue our instructive conversation on Anapanasati Bhavana, or the development of mindfulness by means of breathing. Now we have come to the fourth thread of the whole set. Fourth thread is the heart or essence of the whole system of Anapanasati. Now we will begin from the very beginning. That is the exercise 1, exercise 2, 3, 4 onwards. As I have told you, as a regulation, every time we start a practice, we have to practice from the very beginning. The first exercise, second exercise onwards. But now we have to come to the first beginning of the step for some special purpose, that is to know it well. Each object of each exercise to see it, especially to look and see the truth of impermanence, anicca. This exercise is the 13th. Upon the truth of impermanence, called in Pali as anicca nupassi, seeing thoroughly on impermanence. Impermanence in Pali, anicca. I'm not sure that's a good equivalent to each other. Impermanence means changing. Perpetual change, perpetual flux. It is temporarily rising, residing, ceasing. All things temporarily arising, and then residing, and then ceasing. Arise, reside, and cease. That is the stream of impermanence or anicca. Now we have to have in our mind the 12 objects of the first 12 exercise of the whole set. From the exercise 1, we have an object as a long breathing. Exercise 2, we have a short breathing. Exercise 3, we have all body, breath body and flesh body, exercise of 4. We have the calming down of the condition of the body. Then exercise of 5. We have rapture, object. 6. We have object of happiness. 7. We have the function of the feeling, conditioning the mind. And 8. Coming down the power of the conditioner of the mind. And then the 9, exercise 9, we have the attitude of the mind in all aspects, as we have discussed. Exercise 10, we force the mind to be joyful, relevant. We force the mind to be stable. And 12, we force the mind to release the object that it attached to. You will repeat these 12 objects of 12 exercises. Now, at the exercise of 1, we experience the breath itself, to know it impermanent, and the longness of the breath is impermanent, shortness of it is impermanent. Breath body impermanent, flesh body impermanent. Relationship between the two bodies impermanent. The conditioning of the breath body to flesh body is impermanent. You have to repeat now and then from the very beginning. Even the flesh body calms down and down. The flesh body impermanent. The action of calming down of the breath body and flesh body is impermanent. Even the result of the conditioning is impermanent. At the first breath of 4 exercises, we can see impermanence, various forms, various ways. Only to see, look and see the truth of impermanence of all these objects. Repeating it. The breath itself, the longness, the shortness, the feature of it, the influence of it, the breath body, flesh body, relationship between it, the conditioning to each other, the coming down of both body, and the result from the coming down. Every object, of every bit of feature of it having the characteristic of impermanence. And then we come to the second thread. We have rapture in the mind, seeing the impermanence of the rapture, or the feeling of rapture, or the feeling of happiness, the feature, the result of it in front of it, and the conditioning function of the feeling to the body and to the mind, the result of conditioning to the mind. Every object, every part object is impermanent. Impermanent in various form, various ways of the second thread. That's it. Now we come to the third thread on the mind itself. Apprehending the mind, the thinking, the thought, every aspect, the mind of every aspect as a habit, with lot and without lot, having anger, without anger, having illusion and without illusion, as that, so on. Even the joyful mind, the mind is impermanent. The joyfulness is impermanent. The stable mind, the mind, impermanent. The stableness, impermanent. Releasing mind, the mind releasing the object attached before, the mind itself impermanent. The action of releasing, impermanent. We know well about the mind itself, impermanent. The cause, the base of it, impermanent. The manner of ceasing, impermanent. And then from 12 exercise of 3 threads, we have knowledge of impermanent, various form, various aspect, various feature. Repeat this at the exercise 12. Now we can see another truth from the truth of impermanence. This exercise having the name of seeing impermanence, but it includes some other truth in the exercise, because impermanence can give us another knowledge. You will see this because everything changes are impermanent. The impermanence of it causes us to endure some problem, cause us to endure some problem because of impermanence of that, then we can see the truth of dukkha. The term dukkha may mean the pain, suffering, dissatisfactoriness, or misery in whole sense. It is dukkha. After seeing anicca of impermanence, we can see dukkha, misery. Because of we cannot stop the influence of impermanence, we have to suffer. We cannot command it. We cannot govern it, because there is no we in essence. This is called not self. The life is not self, because cannot govern the impermanence and the misery. No man can command it. That is the meaning of not self. If being a self, a real self, you have to be able to control it, to govern it. No, not being able to control it, then regarding it as not self. After that we can see all things under the influence of impermanence, suffering, and not self can be called it's going on natural way, going or existing on the natural way. Dhammatthitatta. Difficult for you to remember it. No need to remember it. Dhammatthitatta. Going or existing on the natural way. That is impermanent, misery, not self, because it goes only in natural way, and call it Dhamma Niyamata, going or existing under the natural law, impermanent, suffering, and not self, natural law, on being going under natural law. And it goes under the law of Ithappaccayata. This term equivalent to you as a paticca samuppada, dependent origination. The real name, full name of it is Ithappaccayata paticca samuppado. Everything had to go under the law of cause and effect. We simply call it causality. After seeing all these facts, we can realize completely that all these things are void of self, having no self. Call it sunyata. It is a state of being void of self. After that we can see, all things go in such a way. We call tathata. Suchness only. Tathata. Having realized Tathata, we can see another supreme truth, ultimate truth, that final step, which called Atamayata. No need to rely on it forever. Now we feel that no need to rely on it forever. It means a cause or condition that we have relied on it until now. Now we feel no need to rely upon it forever. All these are the result of seeing impermanence. Then it concludes in the exercise 13, seeing impermanence. Give a reason of seeing more truth until Atamayata. Rather strange, even in the circle of Thai Buddhists. This term strange to them, but it is in the word of the Buddha. Atamayata. The enlightenment of the mind that from now on need not to rely upon these cause, these conditions forever. All these are of exercise 13. Rather wide scope of practice. Repeating it again. Seeing impermanence. From that we can see the truth of suffering. After seeing the truth of suffering, we can see the truth of not self. After seeing not self, we can see the truth of all things going or existing on natural way, and then seeing all things going and existing under the natural law. And all of these called the law of causality. Everything has to go under the law of cause and effect. Now we can see clearly, thoroughly the truth of voidness of self, of sunyata. And then we can see the truth of suchness, thatness, only that, only such, not more than this. Tathata, called Tathata. And finally, having realizing the truth of Tathata, we can see, can know, can feel, can experience the truth that from now on we need not to rely upon this condition, this cause, however. Rather strange for you if I name it in Pali, it will be with the term of ta, anicca, impermanent, dukkha, maisuri, anatta, not self, dhammattita, going a natural way, dhammaniyamata, going under natural law, ithappatyata, the law of causality, sunyata, void of self, tathata, suchness, atamayata. No need to rely upon it forever. Only ta. Anicca, dukkha, anatta, dhammattita, dhammaniyamata, ithappatyata, sunyata, tathata, atamayata. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ta. Ta in Pali means the state of being, Now exercise 30. You have to practice this. The whole night, through night, you can. Exercise 30. Now, come to exercise 14. Seeing the fading away of attachment. The term virakhanupassi, seeing the fading away. Fading away of what? Fading away of attachment, as we have had before. Fading above, fading on and all, fading away, final, fading above until fading all totally, fading away, seeing the fading away, and virakhanupassi, like a dye, yellow dye to the cloth. Now the dye fades out, fading until no yellow color can be understood by this simile. Now we feel in the mind and that attachment or the result of it as a dukkha begin to fade. Now present time in the mind, realizing the fading away of attachment and dukkha. Then we can look and see after the past attachment in the past time. We have much attachment. Now we can know that attachment can be fading, can be fading in the same way. Even in the future, we can have attachment fading away, by this practice, the same practice, see in advance that we can have it fade down, fading above until fading away, doing away with it. I mean of fading. I did not know a good equivalent in English to the term. And then I have to use the word fading. You know yourself. Fading. Little bit, little bit, little. This is the exercise of 14. I mean of seeing anicca in the exercise of 13. We can have a result of fading away of attachment in this exercise of 14. It belongs to it, depends on it. The exercise of 14 depends on the exercise of 13. Now we come to the exercise of 15. Seeing the extinction. The Pali term is only seeing extinction. Now we have to know further that extinction of attachment and dukkha. And Pali, nirodhanupassi, nirodha, extinction, anupassi, seeing clearly, totally, seeing distinction, seeing the distinction. The distinction, if temporary, not complete, we call it atthaṅkamma. Cannot stand still. Being a ball, not stand still, not complete extinct. What is the meaning of extinct? Temporarily only called atthaṅkamma. And if extinct completely, full scale of extinction is called nirodha. Extinct without remainder. Now we have two kind of extinction, temporarily and ultimately. Now, attachment may be in the way of temporarily or ultimately, can be of the two. Sometimes only extinct temporarily and then come again. Even so, it's good for the beginner having it out temporarily and then repeating it and then it is extinct ultimately, finally. Rather, maybe stranger for you that in Buddha Dhamma we regard extinction is an element simply element of extinction rather to center for you element of extinction. As a whole we have a three element form element which have formless element with formless is formless, and then element of extinction, the extinction of the first two elements of formless form element formless element can be extinct by means of the element of extinction, the third element. Now the element of extinction is doing the function of it. If an extinction to the attachment of our own suffering of our own, of the mind, not our. When we say I or my, means of the mind. Exercise 15. Seeing the extinction of the attachment. The 13. Seeing impermanence. The 14. Seeing the fading away of attachment. 14. Seeing the extinction of attachment by means of seeing impermanence. It can give an extinction to the attachment. Now we come to the last exercise. Exercise 16. Seeing the throwing back. It's a bit in the way of simile, throwing back. Before this, we attach something regarding it as I or my. That is the action of a robber. Robber something from another one to be as I or as mine. After seeing this, seeing impermanence, seeing fading away, seeing extinction, we cannot have it as our own. Have to throwing back, giving back to the real owner, the nature. Stop the being of a robber. The way of speaking in simile way, throwing back. Before this, getting in. Now throwing back. ปฏินิสสักขานุปัสสี literally it means throwing back only. Throwing of the thing we have got, have it as I or my. Back means back to the real owner, the nature. throwing back to the real owner, the nature, the last exercise. This is the realization. This. And then we know. Now the mind throwing back on this, that thing, and the mind free from attachment, being free from attachment, and then being free from influence of a kilesa, being free from influence of dukkha, suffering, misery. And know at that time, knowing at that time that now we come to the last practice. We call it Brahmacharya, Brahmacharya in Thai, Brahmacharya, Pali, Brahmacharya. Praprit Brahmacharya. Virtuous practice, Brahma, virtuous, Charya practice, virtuous practice. We come to the end of virtuous practice of the humanity. And knowing that now the mind released from all things, and that is from the world, from this world, that is from the influence of this world, not is from the globe or the earth or the world, but from influence of worldly things in the world, all worldly things in the world. And then we call it new life. And the life beyond all influence of positiveness and negativeness, positive wisdom and negative wisdom, beyond the influence of this pair of what's it. If you are a Christian, you can say that you are out of the influence of good and evil, of good and evil, the command of God to Adam and Eve. You will not eat this fruit. If you eat, you will die. The fruit of the tree of good and evil. Now we can be beyond of influence of good and evil. New life in Buddhist way, even in the Christian way. If a real Christian want to be beyond influence of good and evil, to do this. This is the exercise 60, the last exercise of the whole set of Anapanasati, development of mindfulness by means of breathing. Now you can see the whole system of Anapanasati practice divided into 4 groups. The first group, put upon the mind, upon the body. The second group upon the Vedana, the conditioner of the mind. The third group on the mind itself. The fourth group upon the Dhamma, in wider sense of all things. All things can be summarized on body, feeling, and the mind, or even the mind body. All these things under the meaning of the single term of Dhamma. Dhamma means all things, but in essence means the thing that give us problem and the way to be beyond the problem, to resolve all the problem. Now we think of three sikha, sikha, teen, samadhi, panya, training, three training. But the sikha means education, of the meaning of Pali term or the Dhamma term. Three training, three sikha. You have heard these three words: sila, samadhi, and panya. Sila, samadhi, panya. Morality, concentration, insight, wisdom. These three things being included in the 16th step of Anapanasati. In the 16th exercise of Anapanasati Bhavana, you can find Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. Morality means commanding the mind to do the job, to do the religious job, the supreme job, and the mind concentrated upon the object called samadhi, and the insight, intuitive wisdom from the concentrated mind called panya. Sila, samadhi, and panya can be found in the whole set of the 16th step of mindfulness development. It looks like it will take much more time than we can endure. Someone look at it as will take much more time. Go away. Now try to endure, to practice it bit by bit. If we have it in the correct way, it will not be difficult. It can go bit by bit. Not too much time. Not take too much time, adequate time to do this. Now, it was a while. It was the practice to have a new life. As I'm sure that all of you come here to seek a new life, life beyond influence of positive wisdom and negative wisdom, to be free, to be emancipated from all problems, physical way, psychical way, mental way, spiritual way. The practice of Anapanasati Bhavana, the development of mindfulness by means of breathing in and breathing out, is as we have discussed. We repeat it in memory, in remembrance, the 16th step of four groups, a group of four. The first group on the body, the second group on the feeling, the third group on the mind, and the fourth group on the Dhamma. The word Dhamma in essence means duty. Dhamma means duty, duty to save us from death, from dukkha, from suffering. Duty. We have duty to know this. Aniccaṃ, dukkhaṃ, anattā, tathātā, suññatā. That it will help us to be beyond all the problems. Now we finish the system of Anapanasati. The development of the mind, we can say. In reality, development of mindfulness by means of breathing. At first, on the breathing itself, breathing in a breath, breathing out itself, and after, on the truth, any truth, depending on the breathing, on the body, on the mind, on the life itself. But every stroke of breathing, and then we call all 16 steps as Anapanasati, because we have to have some truth, some fact of truth, any kind of fact at every stroke of breathing. Means that it depends on the breathing. And then every step, every exercise called Anapanasati depends on breathing. And not only upon the breathing, merely only the beginning upon the breathing, the body of breathing, then upon the Dhamma dependent to the breathing, and can be shown, can be clear at the stroke of breathing. Now, finish the conversation. I think it's the best thing to speak to you, friend in birth, decay, disease, and distress. Wish you to have success on this practice. Worth a while coming here to Suan Mok. Thank you, good listener, to my speaking English in the way or Chinese speaking Thai. Thank you.